Today's video features my perfect Miami Heat offseason plan from this point forward. It's been a long offseason thus far. We've downed the NBA draft. We've downed NBA free agency, but there's still a lot for the Miami Heat to do. And in today's video, I fill in for Pat Riley and do what I think the Miami Heat should do leading up to that NBA season tip-off in late October. And of course, step one of my perfect free agency or offseason plan for the Miami Heat is to do none other than trade for Mr. Damian Lillard. Obviously, this is the biggest storyline surrounding your Miami Heat. I think it gets done, and it's something that I know Pat Riley wants to get done. And if I was the GM of the Miami Heat, I would get this done as well. And I'll let you know this. If the Dame trade does happen or doesn't happen, we'll be here with a video for you guys. So make sure you hit that sub button. We are oh so close to 5,000 subscribers, 271 away. When we hit 5K subscribers, I'll do a beer shotgun on a video. But let's get to what my trade idea for Damian Lillard would be. And it's something that has been flashed on the show previously. So the Heat get Damian Lillard. They also get a 2025 first-round pick from Brooklyn, but it is Phoenix's, for Tyler Hero. So Hero goes to Brooklyn in a 3-team deal. And what that 2025 first-round pick does for Miami is it frees them up to send 4 unprotected first-rounders to Portland. So they Blazers get Kyle Lowry and Jaime Jaquez Jr. from Miami. They get Dinwiddie from Brooklyn to make the salaries match. And then they get those 4 unprotected first-round picks in 2024, 26, 28, and 30, plus some other pick swaps as well from Miami. And I really think the Dame trade will happen. It might take longer than I anticipated, that is for sure. I thought this would be done by now. But it might take longer than you might anticipate as well. This might go into September or late August, unfortunately, because I thought maybe it could get done before the NBA schedule is released in mid-August. But the problem with that is that the Blazers front office, the Heat front office, they're going on vacation late July, early August to take a break after a long free agency and NBA draft and offseason. So they're going to take a little break, and maybe when they come back, they can actually have real negotiations because the Heat need to acquire Damian Lillard. And what you've seen from him over the past 4 seasons is nothing short of spectacular, especially this past season where he played in 58 games and tallied 32.2 points per night. But the thing that is the key to me, and it's always his efficiency. 40% from 3 4 years ago, 39, a bad year 2 years ago with an injury, so I don't even count that. It's kind of a throwaway year in my book, and then bounces back with a 37% season from beyond the arc. And one thing I also like is that he is a scorer, but also a facilitator. 8 assists a night almost every single season. Damian Lillard can absolutely do it all and would turn around this Heat roster. But I've shown this sometimes too. And the biggest thing for me is what he does in the postseason. The Miami Heat with Jimmy Butler, with Bam Adebayo, how as an organization will always be playing in the postseason when the brights are the lightest. So you need players that can rise to the occasion and play their best when the lights are the brightest. Jimmy Butler does it, Bam Adebayo does it, and Damian Lillard for sure does it. 45% from 3 in the postseason. Are you kidding me? That is flat out absurd. Damian Lillard would fit in perfectly on this Heat roster, and a potential Heat roster with Damian Lillard in that trade package I showed looks like this. I think Josh Richardson would be the starting backcourt mate to Damian Lillard. Butler and Bam, of course, in that starting 5, with Nikola Jovic slotted in at the 4. You could argue Caleb Martin starts, but I wouldn't be surprised if they want to keep Martin as the 6th-man energizer off the bench, so I could see them sticking with Jovic at the 4 if he is still on the roster after Damian Lillard trade. And this team has it all, too. When you look at that roster, you have the size in Bam and Jovic down low with good backup bigs as well with Orlando Robinson, Kevin Love, and Thomas Bryant. You have the point guard scoring of Damian Lillard, the two-way wing in Jimmy, the big man inside of Bam, Josh Richardson who can shoot the rock. One thing you can say is that they need to add more shooting, but other than that, this is a very solid roster that I think would win an NBA title. But let's go back to that trade idea. And it is today's pinned comment because I want to ask you guys, would you do this trade for Damian Lillard? Jaime Jaquez, Lowry, 4 first-rounders, and Tyler Hero going out, and you're getting Damian Lillard and a 2025 first. Would you do this trade? Type A for accept, type D for decline. Let me know in the comment section. Step 2 in my master plan this offseason is to sign Christian Wood in free agency. And I know this is a divisive figure inside the NBA because people don't really know if he is worth it, if he could fit in a winning culture. But I'll say this, there are reports throughout this entire offseason that the Heat are interested in Mr. Wood. Pause. But there is something that he could bring to the table that could help the Miami Heat. There's multiple aspects of his game that I love. One of them is that he's a flat-out scorer. He is someone who can average 14 points per night consistently. I mean, you look at what he's done over the past 4 seasons, and what he's done, especially when it comes to an efficiency metric, is what I love the most. Has never shot worse than 50% from the field over the past 4 seasons, and his worst year from 3 was 3 years ago, when he shot 37.4% from 3. You just don't see that from big men to be that efficient from beyond the arc. But there is a dilemma with Christian Wood. And there's some positives, there's some negatives, and I want to run through them pretty quickly here. Positive number 1, he's a very solid 3-level scorer. I just showed you his stats when it comes to his efficiency. He can finish inside, he can finish from beyond the arc, he can hit the mid-range, he can even ISO score if he is allowed to. Christian Wood is an elite 3-level scorer, and he can benefit this Heat roster for sure, being a 6th-man scorer or being the starting power forward next to Bam Adebayo. Problem. Plays absolutely no defense. And the defense that he does give out, absolutely abysmal. It's actually kind of disgusting to see, if we're going to be honest. He gives 0 effort on the defensive end. And if you're going to play for the Miami Heat, you need to play defense or at least try. Christian Wood does not do that. Positive number 2, though. He fits perfectly next to Bam Adebayo. You can put him at that 4 position. He can play small ball 5, but next to Bam, maybe Bam hides those Christian Wood defensive inefficiency because of how good Bam is, and you just let Wood cook on offense. That is a very high possibility. He does fit next to Bam. He can space the floor and be very solid. But does he fit in a winning culture? That has been the main question regarding Christian Wood his entire career this far. He plays well. Is he a we guy, not a me guy? That is a big question. I'm not sure if he does fit that winning culture bill. That is the dilemma with Christian Wood. Step number 3 in my plan. Sign Terrence Ross. And you're saying, Terrence Ross, isn't he cucked? He might be. He might not be. But it couldn't hurt to give him a look. And if you remember what he's been able to do on the Orlando Magic, and then he went over to the Phoenix Suns in a trade, he's been a very solid bucket getter. I mean, it's not long ago, he was averaging 14, 15 a game for the Orlando Magic. And then obviously he played for the Phoenix Suns this past season and struggled a little bit to find his footing with Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and Kevin Durant. But one thing that I do like about him is his volume scoring. And he is a Heat killer too, by the way. He is someone who has performed against the Miami Heat time and time again and dominated them in some games when he was on the Magic. I think there was one game. It might have been the Heat's first game of the 2021 season. They played the Magic and Terrence Ross went for like 30, and I was just like, what is happening? But when you look at what he's done against the Heat in his career, he has been incredible. 11.6 points per game, 2.9 rebounds. But look at the efficiency. 37.8% from 3 and 40.9% from the field. And if the Heat are going to win the NBA championship, the Larry O'Brien trophy, after trading for Damian Lillard, they're going to have to add more perimeter shooting alongside Dame, Jimmy, and Bam. Terrence Ross could be that guy. I just gave you Christian Wood and Terrence Ross, but give me someone you want to sign down in the comment section. I'm stepping in for Pat Riley in today's video, giving out my plan. I want you to step in for me and shout someone out in the comment section on who the Heat should sign. Step number 4, Quattro. Yes, go. Sign Bryn Forbes. And this one might bring up some old Vietnam flashbacks for you. Bryn Forbes is someone who killed the Heat in the past, but he is someone who has steadily declined over the past 4 seasons. I mean, you remember when he was with the Milwaukee Bucks and San Antonio Spurs, he was a flat-out sniper. Look at what he did in 2020-21 season. 10 points per game, 45.2% from 3, and he backed it up with a 41% from 3 season in 2021-22, and now he did fall off a cliff this past year, and it was rough. 3.6 points per game, 36% from the field, and 30% from 3. That is not great at all, but this is another Miami Heat killer, and I'm going to flash a graphic here in a second, and I want you guys to just remain calm. We're past it. We don't have to think about this anymore. But I'm just going to show you what this man is capable of in the postseason. If you go back to 2021, in the first round of the playoffs, Bryn Forbes did this to the Miami Heat. 15 points in 4 games when they swept the Heat coming off that bubble year. 52.5% in that series, 48.5% from 3 in that series, and he shot 8.3s a game. So it's not like he was shooting 3 games a night or 3 threes a night and making 1.8. He was actually shooting volume and knocking down almost 4 threes a game. Maybe Forbes can change teams, come to the Heat, and be a 3-point shooter off the bench and bring this level of production in the NBA postseason. Hell, I'd take a shot on Bryn Forbes. It would only be for the vet men. Step number 5, this isn't in the offseason, but it's just to go out and win the damn NBA title. And I'll promise you this. The Heat trade for Dame, they signed Christian Wood, they signed Terrence Ross, and they signed Bryn Forbes. It's like a 4-leg parlay here. It's not likely to hit, but hey, if that 4-leg lay does hit, guess what? This team's winning the NBA title. And look at what the roster would be like if that all happened. I'm still riding with the same starting 5. Might be a hot take. You could critique me down in the comment section, but I truly do think this is going to be the starting 5 going into next season if the Heat retain Nikola Jovic. But then you're going to have Caleb Martin coming off the bench, Christian Wood coming off the bench, Terrence Ross and Bryn Forbes as your off-the-bench shooters. You also have Duncan Robinson on this team still, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was traded to a different team to recoup some second-round picks or maybe even a first-round pick. And you got the front court depth of Thomas Bryant, Kevin Love, Orlando Robinson, and Haywood Highsmith. This team has the shooting with Josh Richardson, Duncan, Forbes, Ross, the scoring off the bench in Wood, Caleb Martin, the backup big, and Thomas Bryant. And then you've got the big 3. That is Dame, Jimmy, and Bam. This team would be one of the best rosters maybe in recent NBA history. And I am guaranteeing if this is your roster come late October, it's almost Halloween, you're dressing up like Batman or something, watching the NBA, this is going to be the team that wins the NBA title. I just gave you my 5 steps for this Heat offseason plan that I think could lead to an NBA championship. So I want you to grade my plan down in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. If you don't put A, you're a fraud. I'm just kidding. Give me your honest reaction down in the comment section. As always, make sure you do subscribe. We are very close to that 5,000 subscriber mark. So when we do hit there, like I said, I'll take a beer shotgun on video. Who doesn't want to see a grown man shotgun a beer on YouTube? I want to see it. So make sure you guys hit that sub button. We'll also be here for all Heat news and rumors.